first largest bank in the USA JPMorgan Chase. The Chase brand is used for credit card services in the United States and Canada, the bank's retail banking activities in the United States and United Kingdom, and commercial banking. The current company was originally known as Chemical Bank, which acquired Chase Manhattan and assumed that company's name. Going back further, its predecessors include major banking firms among which are Chemical Bank, Manufacturers Hanover, First Chicago Bank, National Bank of Detroit, Texas Commerce Bank, Providian Financial, and Great Western Bank. Hamilton's political enemy, and eventual murderer, Aaron Burr was able to create a bank by sneaking a clause into a charter for a company, called the Manhattan Company, to provide clean water to New York City. Led by David Rockefeller during the 1970s and 1980s, Chase Manhattan emerged as one of the largest and most prestigious banking concerns, with leadership positions in syndicated lending, treasury and security services, credit cards, mortgages, and retail financial services. In 1824, the company amended its charter to perform banking activities and created the Chemical Bank of New York. In 1996, Chemical Bank acquired Chase Manhattan. On September 25, 2008, JPMorgan Chase bought most of the banking operations of Washington Mutual from the receivership of the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. In December 2002, Chase paid fines totaling $80 million, with the amount split between the states and the federal government. The fines were part of a settlement involving charges that 10 banks, including Chase, deceived investors with biased research. In 2008 and 2009, 14 lawsuits were filed against JPMorgan Chase in various district courts on behalf of Chase credit card holders claiming the bank violated the Truth in Lending Act, breached its contract with the consumers, and committed a breach of the implied covenant of good faith and fair dealing. In January 2011, JPMorgan Chase admitted that it wrongly overcharged several thousand military families for their mortgages, including active duty personnel in the war in Afghanistan. The bank also admitted it improperly foreclosed on more than a dozen military families. Both actions were in clear violation of the Service Members Civil Relief Act, which automatically lowers mortgage rates to 6%, and bars foreclosure proceedings of active duty personnel. On August 25, 2011, JPMorgan Chase agreed to settle fines with regard to violations of the sanctions under the Office of Foreign Assets Control (OFAC) regime. In August 2013, JPMorgan Chase announced that it was being investigated by the United States Department of Justice over its offerings of mortgage-backed securities leading up to the financial crisis of 2007-08. Bernie Madoff opened a business account at Chemical Bank in 1986 and maintained it until 2008, long after Chemical acquired Chase. In 2010, Irving Picard, the SIPC receiver appointed to liquidate Madoff's company, alleged that JPMorgan failed to prevent Madoff from defrauding his customers. According to the suit, Chase knew or should have known that Madoff's wealth management business was a fraud. The government filed a 2-count criminal information charging JPMorgan with Bank Secrecy Act violations, but the charges will be dismissed within 2 years provided that JPMorgan reforms its anti-money laundering procedures and cooperates with the government in its investigation. The lawsuit, which was filed on behalf of shareholders against Chief Executive Jamie Dimon and other high-ranking JPMorgan employees, used statements made by Bernie Madoff during interviews conducted while in prison in Butner, North Carolina, claiming that JPMorgan officials knew of the fraud. The lawsuit stated that JPMorgan was uniquely positioned for 20 years to see Madoff's crimes and put a stop to them. In 2006, JPMorgan Chase purchased Collegiate Funding Services, a portfolio company of private equity firm Lightyear Capital, for $663 million. In April 2006, JPMorgan Chase acquired Bank of New York Mellon's retail and small business banking network. New York Trust Company, the Bank of the Manhattan Company Est, Chase National Bank of the City of New York Est, City National Bank and Trust Company, Bank United of Texas Co. In 2013, after teaming up with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, GlaxoSmithKline and Children's Investment Fund, JPMorgan Chase, under Jamie Dimon launched a $94 million fund with a focus on late-stage healthcare technology trials. The $94 million Global Health Investment Fund will give money to a final-stage drug, vaccine, and medical device studies that are otherwise stalled at companies because of their relatively high failure risk and low consumer demand. In December 2016, 14 former executives of the Wendell Investment Company faced trial for tax fraud while JPMorgan Chase was to be pursued for complicity. On May 14, 2020, Financial Times, citing a report which revealed how companies are treating employees, their supply chains and other stakeholders, during the COVID-19 pandemic, documented that JPMorgan Asset Management alongside Fidelity Investments and Vanguard have been accused of paying lip services to cover human rights violations. The UK-based media also referenced that a few of the world's biggest fund houses took the action in order to lessen the impact of abuses, such as modern slavery, at the companies they invest in. In September 2020, the company admitted that it manipulated precious metals futures and government bond markets in a span period of 8 years. In September 2021, JPMorgan Chase entered the UK retail banking market by launched an app-based current account under the Chase brand. JPMorgan Chase 133 was the biggest bank at the end of 2008 as an individual bank, not including subsidiaries. For management reporting purposes, JPMorgan Chase's activities are organized into a corporate/private equity segment and 4 business segments. In May 2022, JPMorgan Chase announced that they had committed a 5-year $20 million commitment in support of summer youth employment programs, SIEPs, across 24 cities in the United States. JPMorgan has come under criticism for investing in new fossil fuels projects since the Paris Climate Change Agreement. The bulk of North American operations take place in 5 nearby buildings on or near Park Avenue in New York City, the Union Carbide building at 270 Park Avenue, the hub of sales and trading operations, which is being replaced, and the Chemical Bank building at 277 Park Avenue just to the east, where most investment banking activity takes place. Approximately 11,050 employees are located in Columbus at the McCoy Center, the former Bank One offices. JPMorgan Chase Temporary World Headquarters 383 Madison Avenue, New York City, New York. Artist's impression of the under construction new JPMorgan Chase World Headquarters 270 Park Avenue, New York City, New York. Chase Tower Rochester, New York. JPMorgan Chase Tower Houston, Texas. On September 18, 2013, JPMorgan Chase agreed to pay a total of $920 million in fines and penalties to American and UK regulators for violations related to the trading loss and other incidents. The fine was part of a multi-agency and multinational settlement with the Federal Reserve, Office of the Comptroller of the Currency and the Securities and Exchange Commission in the United States and the Financial Conduct Authority in the UK. Jamie Dimon is the chairman and CEO of JPMorgan Chase. The acquisition deal of Bank One in 2004 was designed in part to recruit Dimon to JPMorgan Chase.